Howdy gang, Trailblazer Tim here. It's Saturday morning, the first day of August 2020. I got a hurricane coming and I'm riding it out in my RV. Wish me luck. I better get ready. Alright, so we're like 24 hours, maybe 30 hours out from this hurricane Isaias. It's category 1. It's not really organized real well. It's still packing sustained winds of 85 mile an hour, rumbling down there in the Bahamas area. They're forecasting it to skirt the east coast of Florida, kind of almost like Hurricane Dorian did last year in 2019. A few miles bobbling to the east or the left is going to make a big difference between me getting walloped with 75 mile an hour winds or 30 mile an hour winds. Anyway, about it. I'm stuck in my RV. I don't have a choice to go to a motel room or anything like that. RV weighs about 4,500 pounds, but still, these storms can create tornadoes and flying debris and stuff like that. So I've got to do what I've got to do the best I can to try to make sure this thing don't go anywhere. And I got what I got, I guess. Wish me luck. Now, I stay in an RV park. Back behind there is my RV. And in this park is probably about, I'm going to say close to 75 to 100 different RVs up in this joint. Class A's all the way down to travel trailers, all that other good stuff. And right behind me, over there, is a river. The other side of that river is a barrier island and then the ocean. That's how close that hurricane's going to be. So I need to get my stuff buttoned down. Alright, so I got my awning kind of secured and stuff like that. Now this looks kind of silly, but this thing doesn't crank down all the way, and I'm afraid when the winds come in, it's going to be banging it around. If you can see it up there. Tied them down with zip ties. Zip ties, whatever. At least that thing's not going to be racketing around and making all this noise when all them winds come down. That antenna up there is coming down. That's for my TV. I'm not going to do that until tomorrow when the winds start picking up. Now here on the front end of my RV, this is a propane container and a battery box. Well, this box right here tends to rattle around a little bit. I need to fasten that thing down so it's not going to make a lot of noise and all that stuff, because that can be very annoying, especially when you got high winds coming through. Alright, so it's about noon on Saturday. We've got about 24 hours or less before this hurricane hits. Now, I ended up putting some heavy-duty straps and anchors about 5 feet into the ground on the back side of my travel trailer. You can see one right there. And I got 2 of them there and one right there. So, hoping that's going to hold this end down. I also got a 2-way anchor system. You can see that? That's around the front of the hitch there. Those are drove in about 5 feet deep with an extra ratchet strap around that, as well as the 2 chains that are already anchored to the tongue of the RV. So that's what we're working with right now. Alright, so for the most part I feel fairly decent about how my straps are holding in. I've got those anchors, they're sunk deep. But you know, wind is a crazy, weird thing to happen. I still got a few things I got to stuff up underneath the RV, like my big ladder and a few other things. Outside of that, the outside looks pretty good. I'm going to end up pulling my Hummer up right against my door in the front. That's going to help with the blunt of a little bit of the wind that's coming through. They're only calling for a category 1, but still that's enough, and it's going to be kind of a little bit spooky being up in this joint when it hits. And I'm going to show you a screenshot right now of the projected path that we're looking at for tomorrow's storm. Right there's the projected path for Hurricane Isaias. Like I said, 80 mile an hour sustained winds right now. And you see the arrow there, that's where I live on the east central coast of Florida, and it's saying about 8 p.m. Sunday is when we're going to get it in the shorts. So I'm thinking it's going to be about dark, and oh boy, this is going to be a rough, bumpy night if I get any sleep at all. Now I have this app on my phone called Breezy, and if you see closely, that's where that storm is. Look how big that thing is. It goes out at least 500 miles, and you can see already that it's starting to bring in some winds and maybe some gusts, and soon some feeder bands into the Miami-Dade area, as well as Palm Beach. Right there where I'm pointing, this is Palm Bay. I live 4 miles south of that, right on the coast. I think by the time it gets dark tonight, we're going to start seeing the weather deteriorate slowly, and come tomorrow, we're going to be getting it in the shorts. So it's coming, and it's close. Heck, you'd never know there was a hurricane on the way. It's absolutely beautiful out here, but it's coming. Now the storm is coming from the south, and right to the south of me on the south side of my RV is this RV, and this guy's been in it for 13 years. He received a little bit of damage along the years. I'm more worried a lot about flying debris. So if you look just past his travel trailer, his camper there, over here in this area there's a fence, and it's another property, and they got a lot of junk and stuff. And that's an old building sitting over there, and it's got some tin roof that's coming apart. I am a little bit concerned about the wind hitting that and flying debris coming over and hitting me. Outside of that, this guy right here is going to help break a lot of that wind coming from the south. Alright, so what I'm going to plan on doing is I'm taking my H3 Hummer. We're going to back it in here on my pad. This will face the north side, and then winds come whipping in. I'm going to take that ladder and stuff all down and pull my steps in and all that good stuff. And then right due east, I've got a whole stack of travel trailers sitting back in there. So I'm in this little nook. I think I'm going to be pretty good and protected from the wind. Let's hope. Alright, besides hunkering down and getting ready for the storm and stuff like that, the biggest concerns right now at this point is possibly losing power. Now this RV runs on a 12-volt system, so I would still have the use of, for a little while my battery is still charged, my outlets where I could cook some food. If not, I've got my camp stove with my canteen and stuff. I can always cook up some noodles and stuff. Also, I am equipped with a propane system, which will run my stove and my oven, as well as my refrigerator, in a pinch if I needed that. However, I also have a neighbor that's 2 doors down. It's got a big 42-foot coach that's got a generator in it that runs him, but he's got an extra 7,000 watt generator sitting over there. He said I'm more than welcome to use. That will put my air conditioning back up and going. Hopefully it doesn't get so bad I lose my power, but just in case, these are things that we need to be prepared for. Looks like I got a little bit of a visitor underneath my RV. I gotta get him out of here. I don't want him anywhere near where I'm at. I'm not sure what kind of snake that is. He doesn't look poisonous. I just don't want him around my RV. I don't want him to get in. See him? He's over there. Now I've heard mixed reviews from other RVers saying that, hey, if a hurricane's coming, go ahead and fill up all your tanks, like your gray water, your black water, your fresh potable water. That adds weight to it. This is true. That'd be probably about another 400 or 500 pounds I could have inside of this thing to ensure that it's weighed down to the ground a little bit more. But I don't think we're going to have that bad of a storm. It's going to be a little bit rough, but we're going to opt out on that this time. Hey, that's all the time we got for this one. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching me show you how I go about preparing for my first hurricane tropical system inside of my RV travel trailer. This is the first time, so this ought to be interesting. Hopefully we're not going to get it too bad, but you know what, when you're up inside of one of these things, it doesn't matter what kind of storm it is. It could be an afternoon thunderstorm. It gets kind of rough and a little bit hairy, so we're going to find out. We're going to ride this thing out tomorrow. About 24 hours from now, I'm going to check back in with you. We'll do another video and we'll ride it out together. Wish me luck. Till next time, I'll see you on the next adventure. Take care.